always just going to be happy when like defenders.
I think like
David Ornstein has provided several updates and spoke on several players, or I believe him and his colleagues of the Athletic. Ademola Lookman, the man you can see there with Victor Gyokeres, Eze, indirectly Sesko, even though nobody cares. And I will say this, yeah, I must admit, you can have your preference between, Benjamin Sesko or Victor Gyokeres, and you can have concerns about both, or this one's better, that one's better. But depending on what side of the fence you lean, I think many people then gravitate towards the centre, and we're just happy Arsenal Football Club have a striker. I think there's been an overreaction from some people who really wanted Benjamin Sesko and told us about the system and it'll change our lives and potential and all of that. And I'm not saying they're necessarily wrong. It's almost like they're praying Gyokeres fails to say, I told you so. The very thing they claim the other side of the debate does. It's all fun and games in that, when you like the player and you can do your analysis and say all these things like if Mikel Arteta wants to play, I'll support all the players. But they're getting at Gyokeres. And I'll be honest, you can have your concerns or your praise for Victor Gyokeres or Sesko. But I think those that are hating on Gyokeres as we've moved forward with that, and I'd say the same with Sesko, I don't think they understand football, if I'm completely honest with you. They talk about little nitpicking and stuff, and it don't make no sense. But anyways, with the team's imminent return to Premier League pre-season training, moving like I can't read, activity has ramped up. And the wait to discover the identity I'm reading the right thing, of Arsenal's new striker appears to be over. The club are in advanced talks over the signing of Victor Gyokeres from Sporting. All parties are optimistic that negotiations will result in a full agreement, which is great for Gyokeres, Arsenal Football Club, Berta, Mikel Arteta, us as fans, and I'm sure Sporting are going to make a significant bit of money in that regards. And obviously Coventry, because if they did their due diligence, they have to have a 5, 10, 15, 20 good song that sell-on clause. If Arsenal were to complete a deal for Gyokeres, it would end their interest in Benjamin Sesko. Sources on the German side of the deal indicate there was still plenty of room for further negotiations over the fee and his salary. Clearly, Arsenal are frustrated. The straw that broke the camel's back, there might be, but you're playing hardball. We want to get a move on. I believe we had about 70-odd million to spend, and we wanted this done for whatever striker before pre-season. Gyokeres allows us to do that. You're acting up with Sesko, and it is 18 months wasted where Sesko's concerned, but silver lining and all that. But clearly not enough room to convince Arsenal, who seem to have decided to advance with 27-year-old Gyokeres. Arsenal finally announced the signing of Spanish internationals Kepa and Martin Zubimendi. They've also confirmed that they have mutually agreed to terminate the contract of Tomiyasu. Arsenal began conversations with Tomiyasu over a potential termination earlier this summer. Arsenal saw this as a mutually beneficial arrangement, one that would grant Tomiyasu the liberty to pursue his rehabilitation as he saw fit, while freeing up a space in the squad for a new signing who'd be ready to contribute on the field. As much as I love Tomiyasu, and I don't really want to rip up contracts, and he is only 26, and I felt you could have helped us. Either way, you're not fit. It's probably cheaper to rip up his contract than to, extend it by a further year like Lokonga, or to risk, essentially rehab. And what not having a player available. He's still out for another 5 months. My heart bleeds for him. I wish him all the best. Would have been nice to see him leave properly, not just with 6 minutes in the Premier League to his name. Hope he can get fit, stay fit, get a clean run, find a club, whether that's Saudi Arabia or somewhere in Europe, and obviously be fit for the World Cup, people. The player is currently doing rehab in Tokyo with the Japan Football Association, hopes to be fit by October, potentially sign with a new club as a free agent. His focus is on regaining his fitness and repping Japan at the 2026 World Cup. A new centre forward has been top of Arsenal's agenda for some time. Finalising a deal for Gyokeres would free up Arsenal to focus on the remaining areas of the squad they wish to address this summer. Crucially, Arteta would like to get a new striker in as soon as possible in order to help them acclimatise ahead of the new season. Arsenal have apparently also completed the signing of Brentford's 31-year-old midfielder Christian Norgard. They're also trying to sign Christian Mastera, with Tomiyasu having been released. Arsenal intend to add another defender this summer. Beyond Gyokeres, Arsenal exploring other ways to improve their attack. They've agreed personal terms with Chelsea winger Noni Madueke, but there is no club-to-club agreement as yet. Smash the like button. What do you think of that? Arsenal see Madueke as a versatile player who can support Bukayo Saka on the right, as well as providing an option on the left. Do we need an option on the left, or do we need a game changer, or both? Let me know your thoughts. Other players for the left wing spot remain under consideration. Arsenal have undertaken significant background work on Rodrygo and have held preliminary talks about a possible move. Anthony Gordon, as we've heard before, is admired, while Ademola Lookman has been discussed, but thus far Arsenal have been unwilling to match Atalanta's valuation. That's interesting because you also hear Ademola Lookman wants to move back to England and, if possible, London. He's been linked with West Ham. Arsenal have also looked at several creative midfield players, such as Eze of Crystal Palace. Much may depend on what Arsenal have left in the budget after a deal for Gyokeres is struck. It remains to be seen if signings such as Rodrygo or Eze may be dependent on potential outgoings. Surely not powder dry and all that. Arsenal also intend to strengthen their academy size this summer and have made Blackburn Rovers 17-year-old forward Edgar Tejan a target. He made his professional debut in 2024 and has attracted interest from a number of Premier League clubs. If signed, Tejan would become part of Arsenal's under-21 side. We all know Fabio Vieira's loan spell at Porto is over. Porto have confirmed he'll return to Arsenal. Vieira is likely to report to Arsenal for pre-season, but the club would be willing to listen to offers for the 25-year-old midfielder. The same goes for Zinchenko and Reece Nelson. So we haven't potentially learned anything there, people. Scrolling ahead, Chelsea are looking at Mohamed Kudus. Surely that's a better option than Madueke. Malik Fofana has been indirectly linked with us, but he seems to still be linked with Chelsea. Apparently, they're still monitoring Nwaneri's situation at Arsenal. They tried to sign him before he signed his previous deal in 2023, but there is now just 1 year left on his contract, with talks over an extension yet to bear fruit. Arsenal are optimistic an agreement can be reached. They're also admirers of Morgan Rogers, and we've also been linked with Morgan Rogers and Morgan Gibbs-White. For Arsenal to sign Madueke, Chelsea want in excess of 50 million. You get it? Would you lot think of that? The club believe the current market justifies such a figure given West Ham's valuation of Kudus, and Nottingham Forest agreeing a deal worth an initial 52 million for Alanga, people. He's the 23-year-old Madueke, since joining from PSV for Chelsea, has also got 7 caps for England. He still has 5 years left on his contract. So whatever I think about the player, they do have strong reasoning by wanting that fee. Whether Arsenal want to pay that fee, we hear we've got 40 million, they've got 50. I imagine a resolution is confirmed. Do you lot think it's a smoke screen? Do you think that's a plan B option if we can't get Eze or any of the targets? I don't know, people. But Chelsea are under no pressure to sell. No talks between the London rivals have taken place yet, so it's not advancing quite as such. So we'll have to see. Trying to scroll down if there's anything that affects Arsenal as well, people. Man United, they ain't got nothing to do with us. Still ain't got Mbuemo. They're set to land about 5 million for Elanga. I want to see if there's anything to do with Real Madrid, people. Again, Moise Keane's been linked with Man United. I mean, we've been linked with Hugo Ekitike. We seem like we're off the striker market because we're about to get Gyokeres, if reports are true. Mark Gurr, was once upon a time linked with Arsenal. There's no point, pardon me, going over that. What else is there? No one don't care about Nico Williams. Definitely don't want to hear about him. Oh, Rodrygo. The most prominent name is Rodrygo. The Athletic reported last week that the club and head coach Xabi Alonso had agreed to sanction his departure if a suitable offer came in. With Arsenal having held preliminary talks with his camp, other clubs such as from the Premier League are keeping an eye on the 24-year-old. I'm reading two things at once. Apologies. Not at this point. If he was to leave, they've obviously got some young players. There's also rumours that Endrick is sent to be an option, more of an option, as well as up front on the left and the right, which obviously has ramifications for him. There are other players in the squad who could play Rodrygo's role, such as Brahim Diaz, who is in talks to extend his contract. I mean, I wouldn't mind Diaz at the carpet. Obviously, Endrick's probably set to rise in prominence with Xabi Alonso, so we'll have to see. So yeah, Christian Norgard apparently is finalising his move to Arsenal. You know, I think Norgard's been lost in the noise, in my opinion. You know, the Sesko and Gyokeres, now Gyokeres noise, Zubimendi, who, had we have not had this long pursuit of him, maybe gets hyped a bit more, lost in that kind of noise. Madueke rumours and Eze rumours and small hope of Rodrygo. Everyone's forgotten about Norgard. Respectfully to Norgard, obviously, I don't think you're going to be too much of a shirt seller, but you can contribute. But the Brentford captain, at least for now, is set to finalise his move to Arsenal. He is a TP replacement. We're set to wrap this up, people, and you'd imagine he'll be about for our pre-season tour of Singapore and Hong Kong, where we'll face AC Milan, Newcastle, as well as Tottenham Hotspur. We'll then return to the Emirates, where we'll be playing Villarreal and Athletic Bilbao, where we'll see Nico Williams. It's funny how things work. We all know we've got Kepa and Zubimendi through the door. We all know we've been tracking Sesko. That was a myth. We're working on getting Gyokeres Gyokeres. Apparently, he's agreed personal terms on a 5-year deal, people. There's discussions with Sporting on going over a fee. Apparently, the Portuguese club would currently not accept the suggested 65 million euros, which equates to 56 million pounds, plus 15 million euros, 13 million pounds in add-ons, people. So we'll have to see where that's going. Record in Portugal is saying end of the line for Gyokeres, won't return to Sporting. The Swede hopes the deal with Arsenal will be finalised in the next few hours. He doesn't want to return to the club and admits to forcing a loan move at the end of the market. A bit like Osimhen, really. They're still adamant on demanding 70 million, which equates to 60.2 plus a further 10 million euros in add-ons after our first offer was rejected. That typically happens. There's a willingness, I guess, from Gyokeres and Arsenal to get it done. Sporting knew he was going to leave, maybe not in these contexts. So yeah, man, just sell us the player. Let's keep it moving. You lot can reinvest and do what needs to be done. Arsenal team left Sporting on Monday and are preparing a last-ditch attempt to agree a Gyokeres deal with Sporting. Arsenal do not want to drag the deal any longer. They want to close quick. 5 million euros separate what Arsenal offer and Sporting want. Sporting believes everything can be closed by Friday, and it's Tuesday, so a day is a long time in the transfer market. A week is a long time in football. Varandas has refused to lower the bar. He will only go ahead with 70 million plus 10 million euros in add-ons, people. The situation between Gyokeres and Sporting is getting tense. In the last hours, the striker has reiterated that he only wants to go to Arsenal and will refuse to turn up to training or play in with the Portuguese side. So we'll have to see how this develops, people. And we have heard that Andrea Berta held face-to-face talks with Sporting over Gyokeres in Portugal at the end of last week. It's unclear if the Italian is actually in London. Arsenal once again are working on a bid that could allow them to sign Eze without a substantial sale this summer. Arsenal are aiming on a structure that will amount to 3 installments of 20 million, and there's hope that a suitable deal can be worked out. I think we all do. David Ornstein has spoken again about Gyokeres. We'll have to see if the clubs can find a common ground on the transfer fee. Right now, I don't know of that to have happened. There are some suggestions on social media that it has, but that's not my information right now. That's not to say it won't change in the next minutes, hours, and days, because the situation that is being worked upon, people. There was new contact last night between Arsenal and Sporting to try and accelerate and close the deal for Victor Gyokeres, reports Romano, but Sporting are still not accepting the final details of the proposal. It doesn't mean it's over. It's part of negotiations. Sporting are insisting on 70 million euros fixed fee, while Arsenal was starting at 65 million euros plus add-ons. The situation is getting tense with the player because Gyokeres only wants to go to Arsenal. In recent hours, Gyokeres again told Sporting and their president that he wants to go to Arsenal. He'll not show up for training. He will not play for Sporting anymore. To fulfill his dream of going to Arsenal, Gyokeres is giving up 2 million from his salary package to facilitate the negotiations. He's putting that money from his own pocket to Arsenal's bid to Sporting. Gyokeres is pushing like crazy. Hopefully, we give him that 2 million back, but it tells you how much he wants this move, people. So yeah, we've gone over that. Again, inside Arsenal, there's massive admiration for Rodrygo. In certain quarters, I don't know if that's universal. I don't know if that's developing. There have been suggestions that he's prioritizing Arsenal. I'm sure they'll be delighted. It's not like the clubs are talking, to our knowledge. Maybe there's been some interaction with his camp, which is normal, similar to Anthony Gordon. He's a player Arsenal like, people. Rodrygo has interest from 3 clubs: Arsenal, Manchester City, PSG, and probably a bunch of teams that haven't been mentioned. David Ornstein poured kind of cold water on any talk of Martinelli going to Saudi or buying at this moment in time. Again, the Gunner blog said, I've seen people saying this is just agent spin on Ethan Nwaneri and everything's fine. I'm not sure about that. There's definitely an issue here. Am I worried about it? A little, given the complexion of the rest of the transfer picture, people. And we have heard intermediaries have reached out on Arsenal's behalf to Rodrygo, and he's given Arsenal absolute priority. Fabrizio Romano has also said Martinelli leaving is wide of the mark. Trossard apparently could leave for 20 million. His future is still up in air. Would you lot sacrifice Martinelli or Trossard or both? There's currently no direct talks between Arsenal and Chelsea over Madueke. Those within the club are very happy with Mikel Arteta's progress at Arsenal, and it's not thought that the external pressure to deliver is replicated internally. What do you lot make of that? Apparently, El Hilal are intended to launch another audacious attempt to sign Sesko, taking advantage of Arsenal focusing on resolving the final details of Gyokeres. While I think we've decided on Gyokeres, you cannot rule out with football that somehow we go back in for Sesko and don't get Gyokeres, even though I think that one day is gone. It remains to be seen whether the player could be convinced this time, as it is believed his preference would be to continue his career in Europe. To be fair, don't no one care what he does now. You're not signing for Arsenal. Who cares? Eze's preferred club has been revealed after Liverpool entered the race. I mean, you could see Liverpool getting him and him getting on over there like a house on fire, equally with Rodrygo. And they did just win the Premier League, people. So it'd be interesting. What is this? Arsenal are set to complete the signing of Norgard. Big him up for that. Great clickbait there.
He always